let's continue this discussion. This is part 2.
Headed.
And what a rich target that would make ultimately for Iran's announcement of having a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, well,
U.S. and Israel, one fell swoop.
You know, the I forget who it was in the legislature that announced was 2 weeks ago, said, look, if the United States attacks us, so now they have attacked them, we're going to shut down the Bab el-Mandab Strait. We're going to review our nuclear doctrine. Well, when your current doctrine is don't build anything, a review means we're going to build something. And then they were going to withdraw from the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty. So, yeah, this is if the United States' goal in this was to keep Iran from getting a nuke, they've done everything to inspire them to get one.
There you go.
Carol, looking at the way Iran is fighting strategically, do you think that Larry just mentioned the way that it could work out for Iran? But from your point of view, when you look at Israel is doing is rebuilding some sort of military bases in the southern part of Lebanon. There was some reports just moments ago. We've learned that they're in the southern part of Lebanon in the town of Khiam. They're saying that they have destroyed the whole town and they're constructing a military base there. This is the agenda on the part of Israel. But when it comes to the middle, basically they're dividing two forces. One of them is Israel in the southern part of Lebanon and the United States in the Middle East fighting Iran. How do you see the strategy of Iranians as time goes by? They're mostly focused on the military bases and radars in the region. But how much of their concern comes from the case of Lebanon? How do you see the case of Lebanon in their calculation?
I think basically what's happening on the side of Israel and the United States is essentially tactical. I think what's happening on the side of Iran is essentially fundamentally strategic. And I go back to that headline in Haaretz that said all Iran had to do to not lose or to win was to not lose. And all the United States and Bibi had to do is to win spectacularly. What we know, and we had it thrown into our face with this MOU, particularly paragraph 5, when you look at what we surrendered there, you understand how desperate we were and that why we canceled any further negotiations, because that was turning everything over that was fundamental to Iran's strategy, at least half of it, because I think it's all about the nuclear program on the one hand, it's 50%, the other, it's about the Strait of Hormuz. And as Larry has said now, maybe the Red Sea too. Those are strategic advantages for Iran that we can do nothing about tactically. I don't care how many bombs we drop. I don't care how resolute we are and how accurate we are. We can't disturb those strategic realities for Iran. Not unless we're willing to put 2 or 3 million troops on the ground, scour the country from one end to the other, lose 200,000 or 300,000 of those troops, spend $2 or $3 trillion and spend 10 years and have it look like Afghanistan at the end, or maybe slightly better. That's the only way we can do that. We are not equipped to do that. We're not capable of doing that. So all Iran has got to do is hold out. That's all they have to do. And these machinations in Lebanon or in Syria or biting Turkey down or whatever, they're irrelevant to the advantage that Iran has. And I haven't even mentioned Russia and China, primarily the latter, being on their side and having demonstrated that conclusively now.
So then you need to consider also that the Houthis, they got woken up again. They came back and said, we're back. And we aren't going to let you use that shipping route anymore. So you've got the Houthis that have got great hypersonic missiles. I'm sure they've been well updated since the last time they really got active. And now they've got the U.S. military and that wonderful country called Israel in check. What are they going to do? No oil, They're bombing all the strategic targets of the U.S. Once those are gone, then they start taking out the infrastructure of those countries that were having the bases in their country, like Saudi Arabia, etc. And they just destroy them all, and who wins? Iran does. And Iran is not winning. What they're doing is they're stopping the abuse and constant harassment by the West. And they can become, like they should be all the time, a sovereign nation. And meanwhile, Israel collapses and the U.S. financially goes down the tube. Why? Because once everything stops flowing, meaning all that trade routes, all that oil, the prices in America go sky high. There's economic collapses in the United States. Companies go out of business. And look where we are. You thought the Depression was bad? You ain't seen nothing yet. Absolutely nothing. Because when this economy shuts down, what's Trump going to do? Flee to another country? Because right now, people are united. Even Congress said, no, we aren't merging our military, which was a major defeat for Israel. But I'm really happy that the Congress finally woke up. Too bad they didn't wake up a long time ago. We would have never had this war. Too bad they were taking money from Israel this whole entire time and had to pledge allegiance to them. And too bad they lied to us about October 6th being an unprovoked attack. What a bunch of bullshit. It was an internal, studio Hollywood production. Yeah, that day when they were shooting the concert goers with an Apache helicopter and they were saying it was Hamas, I'm looking at this thing going, what? When did Hamas start buying Apache helicopters from the United States? It's the Conscious Hour, folks. What I do here is I'm an analyst and I look strategically. And I'll bet you some money if I wish I had a lot of money. Iran already won. Iran's going to win. And the next step, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. Thanks for tuning in for part 2. Please like and share. Please like and share, and we'll continue analyzing what the world is doing in the wars and show you stuff that the U.S. media refuses to even talk about. Why? Because they're all compromised. They make money off war, folks. It's exciting for them. Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Please hit the share button. Share the videos. And if you have some finances, please donate to the 501c3. That's the Conscious Hour. It's your Conscious Hour, folks. Let's all make it happen and end this war so we can go on about living.